What's up, everybody? Roast Battle League Commissioner Pat Barker here. Wanted to thank you guys for watching. Before we get into this week's episode, just wanted to remind you to like and comment on the video. Those things really drive the algorithm. I don't know what any of that means, but I'm told it's important. Also, make sure if you're not already that you subscribe to the Roast Battle YouTube channel. We drop new full-length episodes every Thursday, the podcast every Tuesday. Click the notification bell so you make sure you keep up with everything that we're doing. Without further ado, let's get into this week's episode of RBL Weekly. What's up, everybody? RBL Weekly back on the air. I am the commissioner of the Roast Battle League, Pat Barker, joined as always by the host and creator of the Roast Battle, Brian Moses. And Moses, today is a very special episode. It is our 100th episode spectacular. 100 episodes. I'm excited. How about you?
Is that licensed?
I have no idea, dude.
Royalty free?
I don't know. I just looked it up on Spotify. I looked up air horn and
I feel like we
it.
just love being demonetized.
Yeah, we love it, dude. I mean, why not be consistent?
With the 100th episode, yeah, of being demonetized.
I don't think you can copyright just an air horn. I didn't mean to let the beat drop, but then I got caught up in the moment.
It was good.
I panicked. It was good. Yeah, shout out to that guy, whoever that was.
Shout out to the Century Mark. You guys started with Sarah Keller. This started as a dog and pony show, and now we're in somebody's living room.
Yeah, I mean we've moved up and down and up and down and from studio to studio, and now I feel like we landed somewhere in the middle.
Big historic day.
I'm kidding. We're in our best spot right now. This is the best version of the podcast we're doing. Go ahead.
It's a special day, and I didn't know that this landed on 8/4/2024. Also, 8/4/44 was the day the Nazis captured Anne Frank.
Really? On the 80th anniversary. Really makes you think.
It's kind of us. It's kind of our thing. I don't know if we're Anne Frank or the Nazis in this, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, let me ruminate on that, and I'll get back to you.
I knew it was a good day. It's the Century Mark, but I also heard I think it was like a white, I don't even know who the person was, but I heard behind me when I was walking in my car, somebody playing Operation Doomsday by MF Doom.
Okay.
Like blaring it. I was
that's how you know.
It felt like 90s New York almost. I mean, I'd never been there in the 90s. I was there maybe 95. But I'm saying it felt good. I was like, this is a good day.
Yeah.
But I hear MF Doom in the background. It's a good day.
Yeah, exactly. It is a good day. It's our 100th episode. And I don't want to speak for both of us, but I'm about to when I say we are stretched very thin with Roast Battle. We're always doing all this stuff, right? I'm running the league. You're running a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes. Preparing for this podcast in and of itself is like a crazy task. I also have a kid I have to occasionally pay attention to. And our podcast producer, who I love, Colin, is in Toronto. And he's giving me all these ideas. He's like, for the 100th episode, we got to do this, we got to do that. He's so excited. And it got to the point where I was like, if you can't get on a plane from Toronto and fly here and do all the things for me, they're not going to happen. The 100th episode will be like the 99 before it. We'll just watch battles. And he goes, well, you got to get a cake at least.
What?
I couldn't get a cake, but I got a 4-pack of cupcakes from Sprinkles. So I have one for you, one for me, one for our in-house producer, Def, and then the other one I will take home to my family or give to a homeless guy or something like that. I don't know. But in honor of the 100th episode, 4 cupcakes.
Wow, that's awesome.
I feel professional now.
Happy 100th, RBL Weekly. This started just because I was like, we need a podcast that isn't with me and Coach T anymore. And we need 2 attractive white people. And we found one in Sarah Keller.
And she's gone now.
And you've kind of carried the show since. So
thank you.
I appreciate you for 100 episodes.
Yeah, after a while, you guys were like, wow, he's ugly, but also decent at this.
No,
so
you're attractive. Of course. I mean, our fans love you. Like they fall into your eyes.
Come on.
Yeah, you're
Thanks,
good looking. Yeah. Yeah, you passed the eye test.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys, all the ones who comment that I'm handsome. The comments do help us. So if you want to get in there and tell me how handsome I am, I'm not gonna stop you. This is a great episode because it is week 23 or 22 of the season. We are well past the halfway point. Things are taking shape, and we are going to look at in this episode several potential MVP candidates.
Hey.
So it's an exciting kind of through line on this episode. All season long, kind of Max Sorich has been the front runner. Sorich, from Chicago. He's got the most RBL points. We've seen him a whole bunch. He went to the All-Star game. He beat Heather Keith. He solidified his spot at the top. And now here we are, not even a month later, and people are knocking on the door.
Well, let's go, dude. I'm excited about this. I mean, like, he's bringing the competition up with him. This is a hot season. I mean, that Shalaka Corrup thing, we talked about her and all that hate, and
we'll get into it.
I heard from producer Colin, who's got a baby, shout out Colin, that this is an interesting episode.
It is. You're going to like it. And let's not waste any more time. We always watch the top 4 battles here in the studio. Battles 5, 6, and 7, we do not. A lot of times we can't really comment on 5, 6, and 7 because, Moses at least has not seen them. In this case, number 7 is a battle we were both there for. It's LA putting up 1 point this week for a battle that was a lot of fun in the room with 2 very interesting characters I'm excited to talk to you about after it's done. It's the number 7 battle this week from LA. It is Guam Felix versus DeHerm. Here it is.
DeHerm has slapped so many white women. His hands smell like Starbucks lattes.
That was all right. Guam is the genie that comes out when you rub a honey bun. And you still glazed. You big as hell, nigga. Get your big ass out of here, nigga.
DeHerm has a record. He is 2-1 fighting Popeye's employees.
That was cute. That's it? Okay, say no more. Guam got kangaroo thighs. I want everybody to give up for a kangaroo jack in the box. Matter of fact, Guam looks like E. Honda if he played in the new video game called Street Tacos, Fighting Diabetes. Nigga.
I love the tacos. Surprisingly, DeHerm wrote a children's book. Yeah. It's called Get Out of My Mama's Bed, You Are Not My Daddy.
That was cute. You look like you sumo vending machines, nigga. First off, if Guam took his shirt off, all his stretch marks would look like a map of failure. Get your big ass out of here, nigga.
I do got some stretch marks, all right. DeHerm is so cheap, when he goes to restaurants, the servers call him Kunta Can't Pay.
That's decent. I like that. That's the only one I like. Hey, you black. What you doing getting up? You black. I was racist. I was racist. You supposed to, not the nigga get up. That's crazy as hell. Okay, we gonna go racial, nigga. Every fortune cookie you opened up said quit. Get your big ass out of here. Matter of fact, nigga, they call you E Honda because you look like you eat Hondas. Get your big ass out of here, nigga.
That was a grand slam?
All right.
He eat Hondas. Get his big ass. Eat
DeHerm?
Honda, nigga. Eat food trucks. Get your big ass out of here, nigga.
All right. DeHerm was named after his dad. His dad's name is actually Da Fuck. Fuck, da fuck, da fuck, da fuck.
That was cute. So big ass. First off, all your love seats hate you, nigga. First off. You look like you kiss your breakfast good night. See you in the morning. Get your big ass out of here, nigga. You've been working here 15 years, your name is still not on the wall, nigga. Shambles, nigga. Matter of fact, your name is on the wall of the refrigerator, nigga. Right next to the butter. Get your big ass out of here, nigga. You built like Bulbasaur, nigga. You look like you say "mwahaha" after sex. your big ass out of here, nigga.
So there it was, number 7 this week. Guam Felix versus Daherm. Boy, I feel like I could talk about these guys all day. One, an unsung hero who has been doing so much for the roast battle for many, many years, both behind the scenes and on camera. And one, sort of a supernova who has burst onto the scene and will become our new guy that everybody loves in the room and hates online. I can't wait to see that happen. I think it's already started. Who do you want to talk about first? Take it away.
It's a couple polarizing figures, as you're saying. Guam Felix has grown with us. I mean, just obviously in width, but also as a talent in the sport of roast battle. Daherm, you're right. He's got a magnetic thing about him. He's a bully in the ring. But it's a style that is still lovable, even though it's a brawler style. It's pushing you up against the ropes the whole time and just beating the shit out of you and just telling you how gross you are the whole time. I mean, when he battled Morgan Anderson, just kept saying her pussy stunk the whole time. I was like, oh, this guy's like, he really goes for it.
Yeah.
Just met her. Like, remember he battled Pickle, just like didn't care. Yeah. Well, just wanted to talk shit. Like, he's like a hater on stage, but he's also very lovable. He's just got this Oscar the Grouch quality to him. You know, that it's hard not to love him, even though he's just up there calling everybody ugly. Everybody sucks. He's the greatest. He looks crazy.
He messaged me the other day and he goes, what's the betting app you guys used for the All-Star game? And I said, Cut is the name of the betting app. And he screenshot it. He's like, is this the one? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't really do anything with the betting. I was like, I don't know a ton about it, but I know that's the app. And I know you can bet on certain things. And he goes, I'm betting that next battle you're going to be ugly as hell. I'm like, man, you do not stop.
He's good.
Just in that battle that we did not watch, you know, you don't even realize in the room because like the crowd's laughing and everything, but then you get the clear audio. He must have said, you ugly as hell or fat as hell, like 15 different times to Guam. Yeah. After every joke, before every joke, in the middle of every joke, he kept saying it. If he is the guy who gets you on the ropes, Guam in this case was the clip of Muhammad Ali just ducking the 15 punches in 3 seconds or whatever he did. Guam was unstoppable in this battle. Didn't even bother standing up. Here's what I love about Guam. This dude works the security for the VIP section, the judges section. When he has a battle, it's not like he gets someone to cover his shift. He just works security, and then when it's time to battle, he just goes and battles, and then he comes back and keeps doing it.
Very B Rabbit from 8 Mile.
Very, yeah. And he went up there and he sat down and he had his little jokes and everything, and they were great jokes. The best quality jokes Guam's ever had, and he just kind of, I mean, Herm was fun and everything, but this was a Guam showcase.
It was stupid impressive. You guys just saw it. It was crazy because I don't think anybody saw that coming. Yeah. You saw Daherm kind of, do what he does because there's elements of Guam in what Daherm does, right? Sure. Just going kind of all over the place with the references, and you're just like, oh, that's funny because the wording is funny. And Guam used to do that all the time, which is I hate to say it, it's a very urban style when it comes to the roasting, right? Or just even like even joke writing. Sometimes they'll say like something crazy. They'll take the audience somewhere and then they go right back into what the point is. And you're like, oh, that was funny. And then boom, right back to it. I think Daherm does a great example of that. And Guam usually does a bad example of that. And this time it was Guam sat down as opposed to standing up and looking him face to face, which was like a great polar opposite, a great juxtaposition. And then it was, let him come to me. Let him come to me the whole time, roped it up the whole time and just, here's a well-written joke. Fuck, all right, right? No? Here's a well-written joke. And it was like, it showed that showcase of, you can do your cafeteria style shit, but if I sit down and do some like legit writing, I'm gonna slice you to pieces.
It's possible that was the strategy. It's also possible he can't stand for 5 minutes.
That's me.
Listen, it's mean, but in the judges section, you have the sideways view of everybody, and Guam's hunchback has like over the years, like he is just he's built like Gru from fucking Despicable Me now.
Shrinking.
Yeah, that dude is whether he sat out of necessity or strategy, either way, it works. He had fucking amazing jokes.
But you're right about that Daherm thing. He does do that. It's like a jab, almost in boxing. It's just you're ugly. You stupid.
Yeah.
You this, you that, you this, you that, you this, you that. In between, like, whatever he's writing, whatever he's just what a punchline is gonna be, he's like, in between, he's just like, you ugly as hell. And it's just like, you remember that? So it's like, oh, that's a good jab. And it sticks your eye, and then you have a cut now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the way DeHerm comes across on screen is entirely based on how well his opponent is doing. You know what I mean? If his opponent is just sitting like in the pocket and has like his good jokes and just says them and shuts up, I think DeHerm, all those little asides almost feel like he's like just grabbing for a life preserver.
Reaching.
But I've seen him also beating up on people, and then it feels like it's an offensive move. You know, it's crazy how that comes out.
That was Jacob Trimmer versus David Lucas.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It was David Lucas doing that thing of just machine gunning you. I mean, just throwing everything he can at you, the kitchen sink, and then Jacob Trimmer's just like, but this in a short, succinct amount of words.
Yes, and a lot of newer viewers are not familiar with the David Lucas era of roast battle. There's some clips floating around on YouTube.
Bully.
Yeah.
I mean, he was as good as he is on Kill Tony. I mean, this is where he started. He got his bones here and then went over to roast me because he got tired of, we can say how good they were, but he'll say how racist they were.
He did, yeah, especially against Jacob Trimmer, who was a big fat. Like he was the guy that American History XXL was probably written for originally. It's been used 100 times since then. But when he battled David Lucas, you had this white skinhead versus this black guy, and like Jacob hit him with every. I still remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar barbecue.
Oh, so good.
And David did not. He was not a fan of that at all. He was like, "Don't put me against these white guys.
Yeah.
What the fuck?"
Trimmer is he's Nate Welch before Ozempic, I guess. You know what I mean? Or I mean, because Nate doesn't take it, but I'm saying like Nate is Jacob Trimmer, basically like 2.0.
I was gonna say Trimmer walked so that Nate Welch could run, but I don't think either of them have ever done either of those things. So, great opening battle this week. Guam and DeHerm picking up a point for LA. Let's keep it moving right now and stay in the American West Division, and we are going to go to Austin, Texas. Now, this features. We just talked about David Lucas on Kill Tony. This features another person who has a little bit of a Kill Tony past, and she's done some roast battles, and she killed one at the mothership. Her name is Celia Contreras, and she is going up against a guy who is a rookie this year. And this was my first time seeing him. I know we're not going to watch it in here, but very, very impressive performance for this guy. His name is Zach Butkovich. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Zach Butkovich going up against Celia Contreras. It's number 6 this week. Here it is.
So Zach uses his diabetes as an excuse not to eat pussy the rest of the time their hypnol kicked in.
I'll let you borrow some Ozempic. Celia's favorite bar to go to on 6th Street is Shakespeare's. Shakespeare's is also what Japanese fishermen do before they throw one at him.
Zach's life was the one he lost his dad in, and that just tells me those people have never seen his comedy.
My dad swerved to miss Celia in the middle of the road. Celia told me she gets laid a lot, and she actually hooked up with my buddy 3 months ago, and his memory foam mattress is still trying to forget it.
Zach, if you're here, who's holding all the fish in every dating profile you have?
Your stomach. Celia is actually really stupid. She was at the doctor and her doctor told her she needs to be on a diet. She said, "Yeah, what color?" Yeah, that deserved it. That deserved that. What?
Zach has diabetes. I just wish he had leukemia so he could stop fucking talking about it eventually.
Celia suffers from depression and is also a whore. She actually fucks so many people, so she's not the saddest one in the room. But afterwards, they still both want to die. Last joke.
Zach has the entire Bass Pro Shop catalog memorized.
Celia said she's bipolar. Yeah, what's that mean? Your stomach touches the North and South Pole?
So that was Zach Butkovich versus Celia Contreras. You've seen Celia before. You know what she can do. I'll tell you what Zach can do is write one hell of a fat joke.
Nice.
And he was on fire in this battle.
So you say he made her the Butkovich of the joke?
100 episodes. That's how you get to 100. You just keep pumping out content like that.
You know, guys, we do the wordplay pun thing. We're learning how to internet. I'm learning how to internet. That's what they like.
Yeah. Didn't see the battle, so we can't really talk about it. You've seen Celia before. You know, she's really good. This was not her night. She ran into a force to be reckoned with.
Okay. She ran into like a diet program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Poor her.
So we'll move on right now, but shout out to Austin picking up 2 points for now at this moment. Leapfrogging Denver in the standings. Of course, we still got a lot of show left. Denver could take that spot back. Let's go now to the number 5 battle, and we are going to go internationally to a showdown between two division leaders, Manchester versus Scotland. This took place in Manchester. It features Jordan Ducharme, the guy who runs Roast Battle Manchester, or co-runs it. This is his 4th appearance of the season on the podcast. Going up against a guy who is making his 5th appearance of the season, a legitimate MVP candidate, the leader in Scotland the entire season, Jack Trainer.
Yeah.
It's the number 5 battle this week. Jordan Ducharme, Jack Trainer, Manchester versus Scotland. Here it is.
God, I wonder what one's Scottish.
Thank God it's not me. You want
Go on, you go.
All right, yeah. Jack Trainer is from Scotland. Surprise, surprise. Making bagpipes the second most annoying noise to come from that country. I never believed in non-binary people until I saw Jack wearing a kilt. Jack still lives with his parents, but you already guessed that. Now, seriously, his parents are still together somehow, but if they did get divorced in Scotland, they'd still legally be cousins. Yeah, Jack likes going bowling with his dad. Whenever one of them gets a strike, they give each other a high 6.
Jordan looks like the 3rd Mythbuster who was kicked off the show for making meth. No, Jordan actually looks like someone on an airport security TV show who's been pulled aside from trying to bring magic beans into the country. He does, doesn't he? You do look a lot like a wizard, but instead of magic spells, you've got schizophrenia.
Jack is so pale and orange, he looks like Groundskeeper Willie tried to fuck a traffic cone. Seriously, he looks about as healthy as a deep-fried Mars bar. Jack looks like someone who drinks the sun cream instead of rubbing it on his body. Jack, come here a second. I heard you had a mustache, but I had to see it to believe it. Growing up, Jack's nan was a janitor. Jack was the bucket. Jack looks like a hobbit that someone took to Urban Outfitters. It's all you.
Jordan's part Native American Canadian on his father's side and Welsh on his mother's side, so at least he apologises to the sheep that he sexually assaults. One of Jordan's pet hates is when people do coke at a comedy show. Fucking nerd.
Jack is the kind of retarded that would land him the lead in the Scottish remake of Stranger Things. Jack grew up Catholic, but, quote, doesn't believe in that bullshit anymore. And you wouldn't either if a priest tricked you into thinking his cum was holy water. Jack being here tonight means somewhere in Scotland there's a sad table of losers missing their dungeon master.
Jordan's heritage caused some confusion for me. When he told me he liked eating an Indian, I wasn't sure if he meant the cuisine or he was sucking off his dad. Jordan looks like a POW from the war on drugs.
Thank you, Bilbo Baggins. So, Jack once accidentally smoked meth. Sorry, Jack is an accident who smokes meth. Jack, seriously, he looks like if Crazy Frog was a person. And every time he comes, he makes the same noises. Ring, ding, 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 ding. Jack looks like Snow White's eighth dwarf, Rapey, who got banished to the diamond mines years ago for obvious reasons.
Jordan told me he had some surgeries done for injuries that he's had. The worst one by far was when he tore a calf so violently the farmer had to put it down. Jordan was once so drunk at a gig he couldn't say anything and broke down crying. This wasn't the only time Jordan had to cut something short because it was rotten. He's also been circumcised.
I've never been in a roast battle before where I was the posh one, by the way. Like, seriously, my blazer has buttons. The only thing Jack has with buttons on it is his cell phone. When he hugged me earlier, I had to check they were all there. All right. I get that. I was trying to remember a joke because I forgot to write it down. Go ahead, Jack.
Jordan looks like he has a season ticket for Comic-Con. And even though Katie Price married Peter Andre, sold her soul for fame, and drank whilst pregnant, this is still the most repulsive Jordan you'll ever meet.
All right. At age 24, Jack finally got his first girlfriend. Yeah, although sometimes he has trouble inflating her because of his asthma. Just kidding. Jack does have a girlfriend. She is real. And if you want to meet her, she's currently chained to his radiator. Jack does claim to be punching, and his girlfriend's eyes prove those claims.
All right, so that was the number 5 battle this week. Jordan Ducharme versus Jack Trainer. Jack pulling up in Manchester, picking up another win, adding 3 more points to his resume. His MVP resume now looks like this: 4-2 record, 25 points. For a Scottish team that has 49.5 for the entire season, more than 50% of the points are battles that feature Jack Trainer, which is pretty impressive.
He's Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
He is the offense.
He's carrying the team. And when you make an MVP argument, because we're going to, Max Suric has been the presumptive favorite, I feel like, the entire season.
Right.
But when you look at somebody like Jack Trainer, Max is 5-2, Jack is 4-2. Max has 30 points, Jack has 25. Jack's team, if the season ended today, in the playoffs. Max's team is not. It's a way closer race.
It's a Mike Trout, Aaron Judge kind of a thing.
Yes. That's a great comparison.
Yeah.
Trout won a few MVPs and Ohtani won a couple on the Angels, but that is the exception to the rule. Mm-hmm. Usually, if your team's not going to make the playoffs, you have to be so much better than everybody else to where they can't even deny it.
Like A-Rod on the Rangers?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that's the case here. People are catching up to Suric. They might not be quite there yet, but there's a few people knocking on the door, and Jack is one of them.
And honestly, just because he beat the number 2, at the halfway point of the season, it's like he's kind of got that quote-unquote Heisman moment. Or just like, I'm going to give him the edge when it comes to, like, if he battled Jack, I don't know. I could probably see Max winning because Max does step up to the competition. And he's been under the spotlight of, like, battling a number 2 or number 1, level opponent before.
Now, it's funny you say that because we're going to circle back to this later in the show. We had a battle between the number 1 and number 2 domestic battlers here in the U.S., Max versus Heather Keith at the All-Star Game. Max got his moment. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival is coming up this week. Jack Trainer, who I currently have as the number 1 international battler, going up against Shalaka Corrup, the reigning MVP. And coming into this episode, I think I had her number 3 internationally, but the episode is not over yet. No spoilers. What I'm saying is I think there's a very good argument to be made that not only do we have number 1 versus number 2 in the States, we're about to have number 1 and number 2 internationally.
Wow, dude. Okay.
So whoever wins that is going to have their moment, their Heisman moment as well.
This spices it up so much.
Yeah.
And it's the Shalaka Corrupt run I talked about. She's coming, and she's coming fast. Okay,
Yes.
let's talk about it.
Yes. Well, we'll save that. Who knows? Maybe she'll be on this episode. But either way, Manchester leading the International East Division. They had the number 3 battle last week. They get the number 5 battle this week. Stacking some points. We know that London is about to make a run. We know that Tokyo is going to make a run. Roast Fest coming up in September where I'll be battling. I'll be announcing my opponent soon.
Whoa, the commitment.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm a free agent. I'm not getting any points for LA if I go over there and the battle gets ranked. I am a free agent. It wouldn't be right for me to get points for a particular city.
So you're just giving these points to Tokyo? Or you want to toss them over to Australia?
Oh, dude, Australia needs more help than I can.
Yeah, Atlanta needs some points too.
Yeah.
He's going to toss some points if you get them?
There's a lot of people who need a lot of help.
You're like an Uno wild card.
I am. Yeah, you want some points? Fly me out there.
Oh, man.
No, now I feel like I'm taking
I was
bribes.
going to say, you sound like a hoe, like an NBA hoe right now.
Yeah, let's chill with that a little bit.
One of Deshaun Watson's fucking massage therapist.
Dude, Roast Fest is going to be crazy. I'm getting wind of all the people who are going to be there and like the full lineup. It's going to be even bigger and better than last year.
And start Skankfest, baby. Roast Fest in Tokyo.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait for it. And speaking of Tokyo, let's watch some battles here and let's start in Tokyo. And let's start with their champion. And let's start with my opponent at Roast Fest.
What?
In September. That's right. I will be going against the current Roast Battle Tokyo champion, Jay Yamaki. I would say at this point, perhaps the front runner for Tokyo MVP this season. We've seen him on the podcast quite a few times. This is his most recent title defense. And this is actually a really significant battle to Jay. He talked about it on Instagram. He's going up against a guy named Bill Miller. Now, Roast Battle Tokyo is actually one of the longest running roast battles around. They came to us years ago. They came to you. I wasn't even doing anything really yet.
What up, JJ?
And they said, we want to do a roast battle in Tokyo. And you said, yeah, here's my blessing. Go do it. And the guy that Jay is defending his title against here, Bill Miller, was the first big roast battler in Tokyo. Now he's mostly judging. He's a great regular judge there. He doesn't battle as often, but he came out of a semi-retirement, I guess, to go for the title here. And for Jay, he had this big long post about the whole reason he fell in love with roasting in Tokyo was when he saw Bill, in a title match, 4 or 5 years ago, whatever. I don't know. I think it's a cool full circle moment. Jay is battling a little bit of a hero of his, and they had a really fun battle. It's the number 4 battle this week, a title match from Tokyo, Jay Yamaki versus Bill Miller. Here it is.
Go first. Jew-hating priest. That's Judas Priest. Whatever a gay slang for Metallica is. Battle! 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 Jay! Oh shit! Doesn't he? He looks like that one Marvel character. Like Thor's brother, low-key gay. He has a wife and kids, but it's all a tesseract. Thor Ragnaroks while Jay gags on cocks.
Bill kind of looks like Walter White from Breaking Bad. Except he's more ultra-right. And aching bad.
Jay with the shorts on.
Guys, like Jay's dad was actually a coal miner. Or at least that's how he explains those blackface photos.
In 1999, Robbie Knievel jumped the Grand Canyon on a 500cc motorcycle. In his speech afterwards, he personally thanked Bill for letting him practice on his ass crack.
Stupid, I love it.
That was good. Thank you.
Think about a man's ass crack.
Guys, Jay's nickname is Sirius Black. Not because he looks like the character from Harry Potter. It's because he never smiles when black people are around. I'll stop there.
So Bill's an animator, right? Which is really difficult. Give it up for Bill, man. He's an animator, dude. Like, fuck. You know? He was first inspired to become one when he saw how painstakingly and precisely and carefully Walt Disney hated Jews.
Not denouncing it.
Jay, you Japano pedophile. Jay wants to be Japanese so bad he eats pussy with chopsticks.
That's a good twist. Joke formula. I mean, a good innovative way to eat pussy.
Jay, you've jerked off to so much tentacle porn. When you come, you squirt ink.
Bill's not lazy, guys. He just noticed that the bigger he got, the more women he could touch on the train. The only reason he hasn't been arrested yet is because the police can't surround him.
So good. Great one so far.
Jay, you look like a feudal lord who coaches women's volleyball. What do you even call your look? Norman core? It's funny if you know history. I sent Jay a message on Instagram. I was so surprised when I got a reply because I was expecting a raven.
Bill's in his 50s. His testicles hang so low that if he walked around naked on a beach, it would end up looking like a plowed field. What's the next animation you're working on called? Dragon Balls?
Beautiful. Number 4, title match. Big punches on both sides. Felt like the pacing really picked up about halfway through, and they were really like landing haymakers on the back end. A lot of good shit. What'd you think?
I mean, man, Bill Miller coming out of retirement like that, it felt like he did some training, almost like Foreman against, Holyfield. It felt like, hey, this guy hasn't battled in so long and hasn't lost a step. If anything, it felt like he's gained a step.
Yeah.
That was impressive, Bill. That was classic American, going into the stereotypes. And for Jay to think about all that man's, sexual organs, the ass crack, the dragging the balls. Yeah. It's he really has a method acting, I'll say, when it comes to roast battle, because he really goes in. I mean, he's going all the way in when he's like, I'm going to go for every single thing this guy looks like. And he just attacks that in angles I would never think about.
Yeah, and I got to say, if I did think about it, that's one where I'm in the final editing process and I'm like, you can go ass crack or balls. You can't do both.
You sound like standard of practices on season 1 of Roast Battle.
Yeah, oh yeah, those notes where what was the?
It was, they were pantomiming jizzing in somebody's mouth.
The wave, sure.
And then it was Jeremiah in the wave shaving his pubes.
And they were like, you can only have one.
We can only have one. So we got rid of the jizzing and kept the pubes.
What a fucking Sophie's choice to have to make. That's incredible.
Shout out the Nazis and Anne Frank, Sophie's Choice.
Yeah. It all comes together. Happy anniversary to those who celebrate.
We cut comes together. Remember we kept shaving the pubes.
Yeah. No, I remember. It was disgusting. It was really, really bad. And boy, did everybody on the internet hate it.
They still do. They're like, why are they talking about those guys?
Yeah. We'll stop. Let's focus on the jokes here. Great battle. I've seen Bill a couple times. He came over to the Belly Room a couple years ago and battled, and he had sort of a rough one. And then he battled in Roast Fest last year, and it maybe wasn't his strongest. And you hear these tales of like, oh no, this guy is like a killer. And that was the one where I'm like, oh, I get it, man. He has quick jokes. The Tokyo style can get a little bit long sometimes. And there can be a little bit of sort of like downtime between the jokes where it feels like they're losing momentum. What I really liked about this one was, for the most part, they hit the jokes, they kept it moving, the pacing was really good. It felt like one of the more fast-paced sort of Tokyo battles. The only time there was like a long thing was after the ass crack joke. The crowd, it went in waves. Like there was like a 15-second reaction, and Bill just had to sit there and let every individual audience member process the thought of his ass crack, let that die down before he could respond. But other than that, it was moving at a nice pace.
He's a really good dance partner.
Yes.
Because he would do things like that. He wouldn't just cut it off, right? Like a Phil Will probably would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause I kind of look at those two as the same person a little bit, because they kind of have that same joke structure. I would say Bill's probably has more expertise in that style because he's been doing it longer, and it suits well over in Japan. But that was the best I've seen Bill. I'm going to agree with you on that, because he came to the Belly. I was like, this is the best they got, kind of a thing. It wasn't his best showing. And then I saw the Roast Fest of it all and didn't hear too much about Bill, you know. But I had heard the stories and the murmurs of, this is Godzilla, bro.
Yeah.
And that's as good as it gets. That was really well done, Bill. I mean, like, you could see why he was the champ for so long and inspired so many guys.
And a lot of three-piece jokes there too, where he was hitting multiple punchlines.
Oh yeah.
It was great shit. And then Jay, we've seen Jay obviously a whole bunch on the podcast. He always brings it. He always has fun. He's the champ. He wears shorts on stage. He just, does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Really tough guy to sort of go against, which sucks for me. I look at that and I'm like, man, he's one of those guys that's really tough to roast because he's just having so much fun up there, and nothing is like it all kind of slides off of him. So I'm going to be studying the game film on that one. I'm going to be watching that back, seeing what Bill did, and trying to take kind of that approach, because it was effective. But Jay is just wily. He retained the title. Another great performance.
He is. I mean, he's got this. You're right. He's squirrely, and he does his homework, and he does the best of what you were just analyzing by saying, like, they have this like long-winded style, but he's kind of the best of it, right? He's gonna do that three-piece combo if it's long-winded, but it's also, he's gonna put it into a nice bow.
Yes.
He always kind of ends on a big punch, or just kind of like, if he's going for it, it's like, he's going for it and why. You can always appreciate why he's going for it, because it's in that long-winded three-joke style they have sometimes, where Bill was just real American about it and just like, no, this, and you don't like black people, or no, this, and you're kind of queer, and no, this, and whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Jay with the shorts and the weird shirt. He does look like an art teacher or a substitute teacher. He's just like, I don't know, I go kayaking, canoeing on the weekends, and I love weird Russell Blandovich. I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. I'm so excited to get back out there. Congratulations, Jay. Hell of a title run. I think 3 or 4 successful title defenses now. You just don't see that, at least I feel like in LA. Titles are, you win them and then you lose them, and Jay has held on to it for a while. So
yeah.
And definitely, looking at the potential Tokyo MVP, and could be in the conversation for the league. Keeps putting up battles like that. Let's keep it moving right now and get to the top 3 battles this week. And we are going to go now to Chicago. And we're going to see a familiar face that we haven't seen this season. But he was on the podcast 5 different times last year. I'm talking about Gabriel Alviso.
Hey.
And, when we talked earlier in the season about how Max is kind of like carrying everything there and the supporting cast, last year I felt like Chicago was really deep. This year, not as much. They could really use more Gabe Alviso energy and battles and everything like that, because he always has a fun one. This is no different. He's going up against a guy that we have not seen on the podcast before, Mike Mazzella. So I'm excited to check it out. It's number 3 this week, Gabe versus Mike from Chicago. Here it is.
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? It's great to be here tonight roasting post-op Ugly Betty. If you guys don't know, this is Gabe Alviso. He's a Mexican hipster, which is kind of like if MS-13 had an intramural Quidditch team.
Dude, you know he's white because he used the word Quidditch. Dude, I think it's so cool that Kyle Rittenhouse started dressing like a Forever 21 mannequin. I mean, dude, Mike looks like if Kyle Rittenhouse only shot finger guns.
You look like you listen to mariachi music, but only on vinyl.
I do.
Gabe is a graffiti artist, and he leaves his tag all over the place. Actually, some of the only places you can't find his name are on a lease, a diploma, and an American birth certificate.
Yo, you can't find my name there, but you can't find a clit, so whatever. Dude, Mike looks like every time he's about to eat pussy, he looks in the mirror and he goes, all right, dude, let's get it right this time.
It's all about the technique. It's all about the technique.
The technique is doing it right, dude.
You don't get a lot of practice. Gabe works in a tattoo parlor, but he's always getting in trouble for trying to fondle the clients. Gabe, they're coming in for stick and poke, not lick and stroke.
Dude, Mike has a tattoo on his lower back that says "Enter at your own risk." So.
It's treacherous.
Yeah. Dude, Mike Mike doesn't only do stand-up, he's actually a triple threat to women, children, and Puerto Ricans.
That's great. I forgot, which one of the kids on Rocket Power were you? I can't remember. Gabe is delusional. He thinks that he looks like Jim Morrison. Hey, Gabe, the band is called The Doors, not the El Salvadors.
Dude, women hate Mike so much that his favorite porn is 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Finally, he gets to watch women shit on something that isn't his personality.
That's good. I do have a shitty personality. Gabe does a ton of stand-up, but you guys probably recognize him from his sketches. You might have seen them posted on the bulletin board at the police department.
Snitch. Yo, if you couldn't tell from his dumb shirt, he's Italian. Dude, Mike is Italian and his girlfriend is black. So when he brought her home for the holidays, his parents were pissed that Mike was home for the holidays.
Oh, man. That's a good one. That's a really good one, man. Before this battle, a bunch of the other comics told me, hey, Mike, go easy on Gabe, all right? Tread lightly, because he's got a lot of essays. Sorry, essays are sexual assaults.
Dude, I can't believe you wrote that and then said it.
I did. You should learn how to write. It would be nice for once. And read. That would be great.
Yo, he was at a coffee shop and he was like, here's a good one.
I was.
Fucking gay.
Oh my God. Shut the fuck up. You look like you sprinkled tahini on your heroin spoon before you cook it.
That's great.
Yeah, because I know how to use spices, dude. Yo, Mike thinks that yoga is a form of self-defense.
You gonna last one?
That's true.
All right, great. So before we did this battle, I asked Gabe if I could sit down and interview him. And from that interview, I learned 2 really important things. 1, Gabe loves hot sauce. And 2, his uncle fucked him. But what I still really want to know is, Gabe, what do you like more? Tapatio or getting topped by your Tio?
Put that one on list.
All right. Hey, come on. Let's wrap it up. Mike has to go home and practice his close-up magic.
Yeah. All right. Your uncle pulled a rabbit out of your ass. Wow, give it up for that, everybody. Holy shit.
So that was the number 3 battle this week from Chicago. Pardon me for a moment. I'm just looking for which episode we featured Angie Stroud versus Russell Ells.
Last week. Oh, I guess we didn't feature that. Or did we?
It was on here, right?
I don't know. I know we dropped it on the last week's episode.
Anyway, what'd you think of this one?
You're right about Gabe Alviso and his energy. That guy has probably been the biggest support guy in that scene. I mean, he helps, launch Ken Flores and his career with their viral clip and the stuff he did with Tito and Mizutano and Banwart and just the whole nine, man. I mean, like that guy is kind of like he's the OG out there, and battling Chicago Ryan Nesson is really funny because Mike's got this energy of just like he loves to laugh at his own jokes. He's excited to be up there. He's confident in everything he's writing, and Gabe is just kind of stripping the layers every time. Just like, you really just wrote that, huh?
Oh,
it's like, I'm not even from this
dude.
country, and I can't even write or read, but like, you did that? Okay. That's hitting you in the manhood. You know what I mean? As like a joke writer, you're like, oh, you just took all the sting out of my punchline.
That was the highlight of the battle for me. Honestly, like there were some great jokes in there, but just the visceral moment of like, I can't believe you wrote that and then said it, like, was I would cry. Dude, if somebody hit me with that, like if I had a joke that didn't work and then somebody said that, I would be like, I gotta go.
Guys love wordplay and puns in this fucking sport, man.
Sure. I mean, look, none of us invented the art of writing roast jokes. And, when I was battling a lot, I would study, the game tape of Greg Giraldo.
Right. That's the guy to study.
Yeah. I mean, there's best of highlight videos on YouTube. Like there's 45-minute Greg Giraldo videos you could just watch. And I did many, many times. Because that was the guy, no disrespect to any other roasters, that was the guy who I felt like I was most similar to stylistically, right? So I would study that. There were a couple jokes in that one that like, it's not that, people like rely too much on like wordplay or puns or any of that. All of that shit can be used effectively. There were a few jokes in that one that, we kind of were like, we might have to add this to the list. We've been alluding to the list for a while. And the list is actually a document that I don't know if you're aware. Someone prepared this for me.
Tom Goss, right?
Yeah, Tom Goss prepared this for me. And we've been talking about this on the podcast the whole time. The jokes that have been done to death. Or sort of like the joke structures. Like, to me, like, so-and-so became a real boy is like a good example of a structure. And there were a couple in there that maybe are not part of that list, but definitely ones that I've kind of heard before. And the Tapatio was slight tweet. It was Tapatio when Angie Stroud said it, but that was one that was like a really prominent joke on the podcast, like, a few weeks or a couple months ago or whatever. Now, look, parallel thinking. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but there is definitely a thing where when you're breaking somebody down as a battler and their performance and everything like that, if it's a joke you've heard before, you subtract a point or two. Right? Because, it's not as, especially when it wins them the battle. Like Mike won that battle off the strength of that top by your TO joke.
Yeah, that kind of sucks because that did get the battle chant going.
Big time. And Gabe, I thought, was in control of the battle kind of the whole way through. And, Mike won with that joke. Now, shit happens. There's 100 million battles out there and you can't expect everybody to know them. All the jokes that have ever been told. That's insane. But we got to come up with that document, and we got to send it out.
Yeah, because it's an uncle fucking joke. I mean, like Angie's has probably got a little more layers to it than his. Is just like being like, do you like? It's a comparison joke, right? Do you like this, or then it's the pun. So I don't really fault Mike for that. That's actually it's not even that so much as like I'm mad. I just think that reference now, because we're gonna hear it a lot because it's very simple. You don't want to hear that anymore. That's kind of what it's like. That one's going in the list quickly because you guys have to stop doing this.
Right. Yeah.
It's like and maybe it's Mike's delivery right now because he's so new in this of just God, you're doing the thing, Mike, and like you're doing the job, but it's like it's very prominent that it's like we have a formula for this.
Well, I mean, I would say this. Mike isn't entirely new. He had 2 battles last season. He has 2 battles this season. He's 4-0. He's obviously very, very good at this. What I would say is, as I came up, there were levels. At first, you just want to get up there and not bomb. Then you want to get up there and do really well. Then you want to get up there and improve your joke writing and make them shorter and tighter. And I would say the next step for somebody like that is to be maybe a little bit more familiar with some of the jokes that have been done. And, you got to challenge yourself creatively a little bit, especially if you're not, because I'm like Mike in that I'm not a big swagger kind of guy. I'm not doing the hands like Gabe and bouncing around and all that shit. For guys like me and Mike, all we have is the pen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think it's healthy to like challenge yourself to be like, I want to do something that nobody's, done before. But again, there's no way to know. It just, when you hear it so recently on the podcast, it's just like, that's a bummer that Gabe lost to that.
He's got this weird style of like, if I can even like break it down, it's Ryan Nesson-ish because he looks like Ryan and he kind of delivers his jokes a little bit like that, but he's got this cheesiness after he delivers them that Ryan doesn't have, of like a Effie Lowringer thing of like you're overconfident and you're laughing at your jokes and like trying to sell it, right?
Yeah.
I get it, but there's an annoying factor because it's like, we know you're trying to sell it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like you're a friend of mine. You're just like a guy who's like, huh? And it's just like, I don't want that.
But that made it so much more effective when Gabe was like, I can't believe you wrote that shit and said it.
And that's the part of the dance that's great.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. He played right into Gabe's hands on that one. It made for, frankly, a really fun, good battle. I didn't feel like every joke connected in this one. I felt like Tokyo actually probably had a higher like percentage of hits, but Chicago was definitely a lot of fun and they were going back and forth. I love Gabe's energy. I love Mike's joke writing. And I think as he does it more and ascends to kind of that next level, he's got a lot of potential to be, one of the guys out there.
He wants to be Sorich.
Sure, we all want to be Sorich.
Come on.
Have you seen that jawline?
I mean, it's sweet. I'm just saying, though. I mean, like, there's Sorich is going to have a style soon. I feel like guys are going to copy. And I feel like Shalaka's got that happening. I mean, like, it's just, I feel like the leaders, like people start incorporating their styles. You know what I mean?
And everybody wants to be them, but like we see with Shalaka, with everybody taking that intro joke thing that she created, nobody's doing it as effectively. That's the thing that makes a Sorich or Shalaka great, is like often imitated, never duplicated.
Right, and I think that's why I think that's why I'm Max. I'm seeing like the bones of Sorich, with Mike. I'm like, you're doing a guy that's already got the muscle and the skin on. You know what I mean? You're just doing the bones of it.
Yeah. Well,
that's all.
Guys,
sorry, I hate watching growth. That's all.
I know, and you know, it's so funny. Like every now and then, we have a battle that we all agree is good, but we have to find like a different kind of angle on it.
Right.
We shit on the person, and then they you meet them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was another Chicago guy, David Donick, who
I love that kid.
Yeah, he showed up at the All-Star game.
Yeah,
and he introduced himself. And my mind was just like, oh, fuck, we had one of your battles on recently. Oh, that was the one where we were like, this shit sucks. What is this doing? Because you're just coming up with... I wonder if that happens to like Stephen A. Smith, where he's just shitting on people and then he runs into it. It has to happen all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
He gets checked all the time when you meet.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, shout out David Donica. That was cool. You showed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ready to fight Pat?
Yeah. He was ready to square up. I was like, I don't want that David Donick smoke. I'm good.
No.
I'll pass. But fun stuff. Chicago picking up 5 points as they attempt to catch up to New York. And, 5 points is big, unless, of course, New York got 6 points for the number 2 battle, which is, in fact, what happened. Let's move to the number 2 battle. Right, Chicago, they can't catch a fucking break. New York is absolutely relentless. We're going to break that down a little bit later. But we got another MVP candidate here. Malia Simon, one of your preseason picks. Boy, did you nail this one. The season she is having is incredible. And she is going up against the newest cast member of Wild and Out.
My boy Lucas?
Lucas Arnold, the newest cast member of Wild and Out. Congratulations to Lucas. And let's see what happens. It's the number 2 battle this week. Malia Simon, Lucas Arnold. Here it is.
I can take it.
All right, that's on Lucas. 5 jokes. Let's roast.
Malia's type is autistic, guys, and she's still single, which means guys don't even need to make eye contact to know that she's busted.
that deserve more.
Lucas, if you're here, who's overpowering the group dynamics of a student film?
Malia looks like she has a very large penis in a jar somewhere.
Lucas is a part-time stand-up and part-time chimney sweep, I assume. Why do you look like you could still get scarlet fever?
Malia didn't get boobs till she was 18. So, like, you turning 18 soon? Also, Malia's parents are psychologists, but her boobs are shrinks.
How have I never heard that? That's great.
Lucas, people think it's funny when you're mean. Wait till they find out you're not gay. He's not gay. He's just an asshole with skinny wrists.
Guys, Malia can't stay long. She's got to go stare at her hands after using her powers for the first time. Speaking of magic, doesn't Malia look like she masturbates by stabbing a voodoo doll of herself in the clit?
Maybe?
That's fun. Doesn't this battle look like an argument broke out at Santa's workshop? A little self-roast in there too. Lucas told me he and his ex-girlfriend used to fight a lot. I assume it was over who got to ride on the handlebars.
Last joke.
Malia once fucked a guy after he told her he was fired from GameStop. She didn't really, but the fact that everyone believed that should worry you. But seriously, talking about sex, Malia's Jewish, which is why when she gives guys chlamydia, their pee burns not for 1, but for 8 whole days.
Well, now we know what happens when you suck on a warhead for too long.
Wow. All right. Quick, tight, to the point, punches, nonstop. Great battle. Malia Simon does it again, and Lucas Arnold, hell of a performance from him too.
Dude, I mean, that just shows why New York is the deepest and probably the best camp we have out there. I mean, you have Lucas Arnold just like hanging out in the background. I mean, that kid is like, he's blowing up on the internet. He's the newest cast member, Wild Out. Shout out, alumni over here. And that was impressive. He always goes for something different and intelligent, and she's kind of the same, right? They're kind of the same battler in that sense.
Yeah, very similar, yeah.
But man, everything was rolling off of both of them. They were getting hit with things. They were going beneath the surface, right? The essence of them was coming out of both of it. I could have watched that all day. That guy, it was well-written jokes. Deliveries were great. I mean, those are two of my favorite battlers, so.
Dude, I mean, New York's depth is absolutely crazy. I always wanted to do this thing the way we did the All-Star game, best of 5, series between cities. If we switch to that, New York might never lose.
Yeah, they have like NBA has like 3, NBA All teams.
Yeah,
like they have that out in New York.
Exactly. So for Lucas Arnold to be a guy, like you say, he's not even like a top 10 battler in New York, and he just comes in and does that. Like he might be the best battler in half of the other cities if we just dropped him there. Like,
go to Atlanta.
Let's keep it moving right now. But he did a great job in this battle. Lucas is a fantastic battler. Great performances last year against John Ajota and everything. He comes out on the losing side more than the winning, but always has great jokes. Malia Simon, let's talk about her. She was one of your preseason picks for MVP. That one has really panned out. Right now, I look at the New York MVP race, which is important. The whole league is important. But New York is trending to make the playoffs. And whoever gets the MVP of New York will represent them in the World Championship.
Ooh.
Think about these 4 names. John Ajota, 4-2, 11 RBL points, came in 3rd in the Netflix tournament. Andrew Manning, 5-0, 13 RBL points, part of the winning team at the All-Star game. Eric Asker, 4-1. I think he has like 15 or 16 RBL points. Malia Simon, 4-2, now with 28 RBL points, second in the league to Max Sorich. Based on those stats alone, my pick would be Malia, but that doesn't tell the whole story. because her 2 losses, Jonna Jota, Eric Asker. Can you vote for her for MVP over 2 guys who beat her?
The Eric Asker is a toss-em, but the fact that Eric Asker took Deep Tanshu Jha, who's still undefeated, shows me something more about Eric, is the fact that he can show up in big battles. Malia losing to a Jota in a big battle and rattling her shows me a lot about her. And then a Jota kind of just being like always a 3rd place guy anywhere we bring him, you know, kind of shows me like, all right, if I even choose a Jota, like, will he be a champion this time? You know, like, am I betting on a bronze guy at all times? I don't know. Should I give somebody else a shot? Maybe like an Andrew Manning, because I know he's gonna show up. You know, he's been to the mothership twice now. He's won twice at the mothership. If we bring him to another place with like a little more fanfare, I'll say, like something that's like a big sold out show, or an arena or a theater, it's like, who's gonna show up? And I feel like a Manning can show up, and Eric Asker can show up. Is Jonna Jota, is he gonna be conservative and not, let it all hang out like he does in New York?
What could end up happening, what I hope ends up happening is that one of those 4 takes the ball and runs with it and does 3 battles in the next 3 months and wins them, and they all get on here, and then they make our decision easy. And we are but 2 votes. And it's a different voting panel for the New York MVP and the league MVP. You could have a situation where Malia Simon wins the league MVP and Andrew Manning wins New York. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, because the local MVPs, I lean heavily on the people who run the scene. They all get votes, everything like that, in addition to like myself. But the league-wide one, it's all the people on the ranking committee. So I'm hoping that one of these guys makes our lives easier. And that would be what I'm asking. One of you 4 has to step up and take this thing, because if you leave it in our hands, there's going to be controversy.
Yeah, because right now I'm saying Andrew Manning.
I would also have Andrew Manning at this point. But Malia with 28 points is really hard to ignore, and she's on fire recently.
It just shows depth. I mean, they have scores.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And there is no greater scorer in the history of this league than the woman who's in the #1 battle this week. This is, across 2 seasons, her 10th appearance on the podcast. First battler to ever get on here 10 times. First battler to ever score 40 points for her home city across the 2 seasons. These 7 points give her 19 on the season, way more than half of the total of her city. She is trying her best to will London back into the playoffs. The woman that I predict everyone is going to turn on very soon, and we're going to discuss part of that coming up here. This is her first round battle. I'm talking, of course, about Shalaka Corrup. The first round battle from the London knockout tournament, which she just won for a 2nd year in a row, going up against a guy that we have not seen, I believe, on the podcast. Definitely not this season, but boy, does he make a hell of a run at it, too. This is an excellent battle. It's #1 this week. It's from London. Shalaka Corrup versus Sam Piccone. Here it is.
This accountant for a vape shop is Sam Piccone. Sam's career has come a long way from sniffing the shoes at Sports Direct Croydon. He now has an OnlyFans. He says that people keep asking for pictures of his feet, which is a fun way of saying anything but the face.
Shalaka is Indian, as you can smell. Shalaka does an impression of her mum on stage, and it's spot on. And that spot is usually around here.
Despite looking like a divorced kebab shop owner, Sam is Italian. We all know that Italian men kiss their mother on the lips, but Sam makes sure he works the clit as well.
I've got to make her proud. Speaking of proud, Shalaka's parents are very proud of her, despite being a woman. And they always keep in touch, especially her dad on Facebook, asking for pictures of her bobs and vagine.
Oh, daddy. This muddy cigarette is Sam. Sam is a greasy Italian. He's so greasy that he lubes his penis with his sweat, but he lubes his fleshlight with marinara sauce, because that's how Nonna likes it.
Shalaka has a PhD in trains, which is so boring it makes me want to jump in front of one. Writing a 10,000-word dissertation on trains is the lamest way to come out as autistic. Shalaka loves trains so much, she screams "mind the gap" when she comes.
Despite being Italian, Sam loves pineapple, even on pizza. Pineapple makes it bearable when he's shoving Jeff Innocent's cock down his throat. If you don't know who Jeff Innocent is, he's a much more successful comedian. And if you don't know who Sam is, congratulations on not being raped in an alley.
This guy's giving ad-libs, I like it. Shalaka recently got a British passport, so can everyone check their belongings to make sure she hasn't stolen yours? Now that she's a citizen, she doesn't want anyone else coming over. She has the mentality of a token Asian Tory MP. Pretty ugly Patel.
This courtroom sketch of a kebab is Sam.
We get it, it's kebabs.
Stop being so oily. Plenty of comedians come on stage and make fun of Sam's girlfriend, and as a feminist, I would never make fun of another girl, but as a dog breeder, she needs her shorts.
Shalaka is India's answer to Velma from Scooby-Doo. But obviously in India, she's mostly solving gang rapes and honor killings.
Damn.
What a fucking battle, dude. What a and I think that the bell got him. I think he had more to that last joke.
Did he really?
It looked like it. Looked like there was a third part coming.
It was already good.
So, all right. The reason I say I think people are going to turn on Shalaka is because, when this event happened, a couple people who were there, I talked to people who were there, and they were like, yeah, I thought she lost in the first round. Right? And then I see this battle, and I'm like, I could see where you would think that. It was a very, very close battle. They both had some absolute fucking haymakers. But the fact that people are coming away from it and their main takeaway after watching a battle like that is like, oh, I don't know if she deserved to win. Fuck the win and loss for a second. How about the fact that every battle she does is fire, front to back? It is outrageous how good her battles are all the time. She's done, this is her third battle of the season. She's 5-0 because there were two more that night for the tournament. But her third battle, they came in first, and third. I honestly don't care that her record is obviously really impressive, but that's why I feel like people are already ready to be like, I don't know, man, she's not as good as people. And nobody said that. But I feel like when the main takeaway is like, I think she should have lost. And also, I heard that and I expected it to be way more one-sided. I thought it was very, very close.
Dude, it's so close. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it could have went either way, honestly. That was impressive by Sam, though. That's really what it is.
God,
it's like,
dude,
it's
he's
just
amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But she's amazing.
Yes.
So that was what you're saying is you're watching two. I mean, that's top shelf right there. Those are two PhDs in the sport you're talking about. I mean, man, whoever this Sam guy is, watch the fuck out. But like, he's going against the GOAT. And so she's going to get everybody's best shot.
Yeah.
You know, so like take that into account, everybody. Like you have to beat the champ. And I don't know if he necessarily beats the champ there, but he definitely gets very close to getting to the champ because the champ throws a couple crosses that don't land, but then she can still save it with just like something off the cuff. Or I mean, she may have written it, but it still sounds like, damn, I never heard that before either.
The fact that she's so comfortable, because sometimes I think it is like, you know, off the cuff or whatever, or like, you know, the double tap on the kebab thing, obviously, you know, kind of missed.
That was great by him, by the way.
Yeah, great. But he's like, yeah, fucking kebab. You get it. Yeah, perfect. But the one where she did the pineapple and then she named the comic that she knew nobody in the room was going to know. And it was a long setup for, if you don't know this guy, he's a more successful comedian. And if you don't know Sam, congratulations on not being raped in an alley. The fact that she did this joke structure that made everybody think halfway through she was bombing, but she was doing it intentionally to set up an even bigger punch at the end is just like, it's unbelievable.
That was impressive as fuck. And I think that didn't get the credit it deserved because it was like, she taught us something.
Yeah.
Like now we know a comic that we're probably going to look up, right? Obviously, which is great for that guy.
Sure.
And then it's, oh, but this guy's a rapist, by the way. That's just so great.
Yeah.
I mean, also like, people don't. There's a hidden joke in there. Maybe I don't know if she's even writing like that, but I'm doing the Kendrick thing. Not like, oh man, she's a fucking genius. You might even be thinking that, but she did this thing about the mom's clit thing of like, you know, Italians are kissing their mom on the mouth.
Yep.
But Sam does, you know, he works the clit too. But the fact that he can find a woman's clit and it's his mother's, perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. That's just like, he's a really good son. And then he even tags about like trying to make her proud.
Oh yeah, the tags were great.
You know.
Like so often, I feel like there's a moment. Nothing I hate more than when somebody tries to tag a joke by doing a like, well, yes, I like to fuck my mom, and it's like you don't need to do that. Just tell your fucking joke. You're killing the momentum. You're not being funny. Everything they did in that battle, in that regard, was like
smooth,
really funny.
Man, good.
So Shalaka now this season 5-0, 19 points. We were just talking about Andrew Manning, who I recently had second in the MVP. Now she's 5-0 with 19. He's 5-0 with 13. So it's like, you know, she jumps right to kind of the top of the leaderboard with, you know, this little run that she goes on. And if London makes the playoffs, it's probably going to be because of her, and we'll be having the same conversation we did last year.
I talked about the run, right? I know we're in week 22, but it's like London's going to go on this run, and it's going to be because of her. And now she's about to Luka Doncic it, basically just put everybody on her back and be like, all right, let's get to number one so I can get flown out somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like Luka losing the finals.
Oh God, you're right.
Boy, her and Nesson was so good. I would love to see her back in it this
Dude,
year.
Her and Sorich, I can't wait to hear what that's going to sound like.
Yeah, would be absolutely incredible. Somebody asked in the Patreon, they were like, and by the way, shout out to Ryan Lynn, guest ranking the battles this week. If you want to join the ranking committee for a week, join the Hall of Flame tier on the Patreon. Somebody said on the Patreon, has Shalaka ever battled Heather Keith?
Ooh.
And I was like, no, but has to happen at some point.
But John Ajota has.
Yes. Yeah. Great battle. Congratulations to London picking up 7 points. It was a big week for the International East, actually. London, number one battle, but didn't gain as much as you might think. Let's take a look at the standings here. And this was actually a bit of a slower week for the American West Division, which has been
on a tear.
On a tear. Austin picks up 2 points and leapfrogs Denver. They've been going back and forth for the last few weeks. LA just picks up the 1. Other than that, not a lot of movement there. God. New York, 102 points.
Dude, what are they, like the Seattle Mariners and that one season they have? Jeez.
Yep. They are they're looking to set records. They're looking to take this thing running away and be the number 1 overall seed. And they've opened up an 11-point lead on LA. Of course, Chicago is just fighting for their life in there, 81.5. The third best score in the entire league. However, by virtue of their division, to this point, not quite enough, but they keep fighting. Atlanta only 101 points off the lead. So,
man, we got to do a wild card. That's fucked up for Chicago.
I know.
That's crazy fucked up.
Tell me about it. Somebody give us, $50 grand and we'll do this thing right. We'll have a wild card. Yeah.
We would love 50 grand to do something like this.
Yeah, with a super chat or something like that. Can you give 50 grand in a YouTube super chat? Let's check out the international division real quick, and then we're going to come back to New York before we get out of here. Scotland picks up 1.5. Jack Trainer going on the road. Other than that, nothing in the International West. The International East, big week. Manchester remains on top. They get the number 5 battle. They put up 3 points. Tokyo, the number 4 battle. They get 4 points. London, the number 1 battle. They get 7. That division has been dormant for the last month or two, but it's about to start going crazy in the East, I think. If you look at the point totals, they've actually had a better season than the West. It's just that the West was constantly jabbing, and the East took like a month or two off almost entirely. But things are about to get crazy there.
It's about to heat the fuck up.
Yep.
With Manchester getting that 1 point at number 7 today, and then Tokyo coming through. I mean, like that impressive Tokyo. I didn't see that coming, but yeah, they really woke up this week, especially the IE in London. Watch out for London.
And dude, that crowd in London was so hot. If they have more battles from that event, I could easily see those ranking very, very high.
Big 7-point week for those guys.
Absolutely. Let's take a look. Def, if you could throw up there. Yeah, this is the one. This is New York's road to 100.
Okay.
Because I wanted to put in perspective, getting 102 points in 22 weeks is an average of almost 5 points a week.
Wow.
You have to be remarkably consistent. Here's how the 22 weeks breaks down. They've only had the first place battle twice. Oddly enough, both Chris Crespo. But they've been number 2 5 times. They've been number 3 4 times. They've been number 4 5 times. A 5th, a 6th, 3 7th place battles. Only 1 week in the entire season did they miss the rankings. That's the math you need to get to 100 points.
That's so impressive. I mean, it really is just get on the board. That's Patriot football.
Yes.
That's crazy. I mean, like the 4th place battle, that's an unsung hero. And then that 3rd, it's just like, those are big chunks, man. You don't even think about those. That's like, you only have 2 gold medals, but like you have so many other medals.
Yeah.
And the 1 unranked week, that's crazy. 21 weeks they've been ranked.
Yeah. Shout out to Robbie Goodwin for breaking the streak. And even more impressive is just, there's been 22 weeks. We only watched the top 4 in the studio. We've watched 16 New York battles out of 22 weeks.
Damn.
16 out of 22, they have been in the top 4. It's really, really impressive, man. There's not much else to say about it. It's just they're having a hell of a year, and congratulations to New York for doing that. That's their road to 100. Our road to 100, it started in one studio. We filmed in a kitchen for a while. I did a few episodes from my bedroom, solo on a computer. To the 300 people who have been with us the entire time from the jump, thank you guys. To the new people who are coming in every week, thank you guys. I hope you enjoy what we're doing here. Stick around because we got a lot more to come, not only this season, but beyond.
It's only heating up. If you're here now, congratulations. You new guys coming in, we're going to love you too. But you diehards, like, this is the shit. Let's roast!